Hey guys, it's me Liliana and welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to the game called Dicentra where I hope, find answers to the mansion and what the hell is actually happening between Dove and her father. And who is this mysterious boy who we met in the hallway? And if he is the reason the whole mansion is cursed. Hi Bobby, hi Agree, hi Superman, welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a nice morning. And I hope you're having a nice, delicious breakfast. And I hope that the weather treats you well because here it's a little bit hot, but let's just say manageable for now. But yeah, last time we noticed that Dove and her father, who is the witch, have a pretty interesting relationship between each other. Like, I still find him evil, but maybe things are not as simple as it is. And I hope we today are gonna find out. I can relate on hot weather. Yeah, so true, so true. Also, I hope the music is not too loud. Also, sis, it's not the right time. Jesus Christ, I just hope it's not cast on OBS. No, it's okay. No. Sorry. Sister shenanigans. Yeah. Let's jump in where we stopped, where your father hugged her, and he looks a bit like in a sorrow and sadness. So let's see what the deal it is. It would be a warm display if not for the way Dove's entire body goes still. Her body does not move. I don't even see her breathing. Her eyes are completely hollow. The only move I see her make is her eyes flickering down to something on the floor. Her fingers twitch, then they start reaching for the candle holder beside them. Dread twists my gut. I watch with terror as Dove's fingers curl around the brass object. Dove, what are you doing? But before anything can happen, the witch scoops up his young daughter and the candle holder slips out of her hand. The witch stands and starts to carry her out. Let's clean those, shall we? After the two of them leave, I pan over to the windows and swing the doors closed to stop any more rain from coming in. I can't lock it myself, so this will have to do. Then I look at the state of the bedroom door. The frame of the door and the locking mechanism hang in splinters. That's heavier than the stove outside in this game. The storm continues to roar outside. I stand alone in the garden soaked to the bone. All around me is decay. Without Babel standing to keep everything alive, all the flowers and plants have started to wither. I mean, we set the Babels free and the rest of the ghosts in this mansion, so for me, it's better like this than, Also, why my avatar is not changing? Huh? Is it broken? Don't tell me it's broken again! I literally cannot change. Oh my fucking god. Give me a moment. My avatar is broken again. Hate this. Hate this. Hate this. Oh my god. It looks fine to us. But I cannot change the emotes. Like, I cannot change from happy to sad to shocked. Where's my... Ah, here we go. Like, I hope it's working. Let me just check. Okay, it's working. Ah, no. My avatar. I need my avatar to lift it up a bit. Okay. What I meant by changing is like, you see my avatar right now, like smiling, and being like happy little being. And if I change it like this, I changed on like thinking, this is my shocking one, this is my disappointing one, this is my sad one, and this is very like cheerful. So yeah, if my avatar cannot change like these emotes on buttons command, it means that some malfunctions and stuff like that. But everything should be good, I hope so. Let's hold on, just give me a moment. Just checking some stuff. Okay, let's continue. Without people standing to keep everything alive, all the flowers and plants have started to wither. The only thing left standing still is the rose bush. But even time is running out for it. Its petals have become a stark white. A snap makes my ear twitch. I watch silently as the rose head falls to the ground. It crumbles like ash when it hits the tiled floor. I turn away and head back out into the rain. I don't remember how long I've been up here. I return inside the mansion. As I make my way back to Dove's room, I see her in front of the study door. The witch's shadow engulfs her. I stop at the distance, then watch as Dove presents something to her father. A cross. The one I had seen her working on. A new one? Dove nods. I hear the witch sigh. He studies the handmade cross. It's been getting quieter around here, don't you think? His question seems to catch Dove off guard. I observe the way her mouth parts slightly, but she doesn't say a word. Red eyes gaze down at her. He knows. Of course he knows. He's literally the head of the mansion. If it's not mom, because we haven't seen the mother yet. And I honestly have zero desire to meet their mother in person. He knows everything we've been doing. The witch starts to turn away. Very well. Off to bed with you now. Dove steps back and the door to the study closes. Then she slowly turns and heads down the hall. I start trotting after her to catch up, but something catches my attention. I slow to a stop by the door of the study. My ears twist towards the sound coming from inside the room. It sounds like the clinking of a chain, just like what I had heard the first day I arrived. Okay, now this is the chapter from Dove's perspective. Today is outside of this routine. It's supposed to be a quiet day. Why did he have to come in here?
Oh, so this is his mask? That's a creepy looking mask. Show me what you've been working on.
I swallow and ignore him. I hate it when he's like this. I try not to look at the wolf skull that emerges over his eyes. He's been using more blood caps than usual. Why bother? It's always in vain.
No good.
I go stiff in my seat.
No. None of this are any good.
He slams his fist on the desk and I hide my flinch.
Jesus Christ, no need to yell at your own daughter. I shouldn't have entertained any of your silly ideas. Those bloody roses was the last straw.
His hands ball up my notes and crumple them. I feel my body grow hot. I clench my jaw. Just ignore him. Everything he says when he gets like this means nothing. I hear a new voice emerge.
Make all the little spells you want. You'll never be a witch. Says who? Never.
My lips start to wobble. His words keep repeating. I can't breathe.
Don't you already have everything? Little beast shouldn't get greedy. Give up already.
My eyes sting. Anger swells inside me. You are such a coward.
What was that?
I clamp my mouth shut. Like father, like daughter. Leave.
I just wanted to see your work.
You saw.
Very well. She must be walking around by now anyways. He places a kiss on the top of my head and I go numb. You know I love you, right?
My throat closes. Yes. Finally, he slips out the door. I sit in silence, my body stiff as I try to listen for him through the walls.
His footsteps echo down the hall. Then I hear him speak. My love, there you are.
My heart clenches. Immediately, I tear my focus back to myself and listen to the tap of the rain against the window instead. I run my hands over my notes, trying to smooth out the wrinkles. The ink has smudged in several places. I look up at the ceiling and take deep breaths. When Mother was around, she would tell me that I would become the strongest witch in the family. She wanted me to become everything she couldn't be. But Father, he wants me to be nothing. I stand, giving up on today's study. It feels like it's gotten late. The wolf barely had any energy today. I don't think he's been sleeping well, and the humidity the past couple days definitely hasn't helped. He spent the whole day flopped over on the floor, smelling like a wet dog. I step out into the hallway. I start on the path to my room. The moon casts a pale light through the windows in the hallway. Part of it shines on the paintings that line the walls. I pause for a moment. Beautifully done things. Father loves these paintings so much. I bring my hand up to the canvas, then drag my nails across it as hard as I can. The heart is the next chapter.
Told you, complicated relationship between father and daughter. This gave me Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde vibes. So true, so true. I can't find Dove. I've gotten used to seeing Dove first thing in the morning every day. To not see her immediately after waking up dislodges a heavy weight in my throat that settles deeply in my stomach. Admitting that I need her around doesn't make me feel any better. The emptiness I feel makes me shoot to my feet. My eyes frantically flick into every corner of the room in the search of Dove. Something feels horribly wrong. My gaze, filled with panic, swings to the window. It sits closed and secured. I let out a brief sigh of relief, but the pressure in my chest does not lessen. The door clacks noisily against the frame, drawing my attention to it. I can no longer close properly after the damage the witch had done to it. My night was spent tossing and turning restlessly because of it. It wasn't the noise that troubled me, but the absence of security in what was one of the closest thing to safety in this place. I steel myself, then slip out the door. I've searched every square inch of the mansion I could reach. Every cobweb corner, every shadow under the tables, but still no trace of Dove. I sprint up and down the hall, not caring about the loud creaking under my steps. I mentally recall the past couple days in my head. Today should be a quiet one, so I can afford to run around recklessly without fear. The longer time goes by without finding Dove, the more panic builds within me. I really hope nothing bad happens to Dove. A high-pitched whine escapes my throat. Where are you, Dove? Is she hurt? Why can't I find her anywhere? My trot down the hallway slows to a stop. My ears go limp and my wide eyes begin to burn as they drop to the dusty floor. Is Dove gone? Oh dear. That's the boy again. I go still. Wandering around without your guardian angel, little pup. I twist my neck to look behind me. Ah, perhaps she's hiding after being punished? My blood runs cold. I spin around to fully face the boy, peeling back my lips to reveal the points of my teeth. The boy's eyes widen, causing me to falter for a moment. His mouth stretches into a sinister grin. My body quickly dances to prevent myself from recoiling at the sight. Oh, how cute. You must like her. I hold my breath as the boy begins to stalk towards me. He holds his hands behind his back, his menacing gaze feeling like toxic spiders crawling all over me. I catch a quick glance of something he holds. Is that a knife? It looks like a white dress? That might be a first, I think. Dove's been misbehaving a lot lately. My guess is that it's all your fault. Whoa, boy, chill. Distance, please. I yelp and scurry away from the boy. He draws back and places a hand on his hip. A yawn pries open his jaws, and I crouch on the ground, feeling like a string pulled so taut it's on the verge of snapping. He looks down at me with narrow eyes before throwing something onto me. I flinch in alarm, and my vision is suddenly shrouded. Pass this towel, dear little dove, for me, won't you? I hastily untangle myself free from the fabric. When I look up, the boy's eyes are glued to the white dress. I fixed a tear in it for... So really, I should just throw this out after the mess Hypatia made of it. What again? I should just throw this out after the mess Hypatia made of it. So Hypatia is the name of the mother? My ears stand up. That name again. Hypatia. The boy sighs. Little dove would throw a temper tantrum if I were to do that, however. I look down at the simple white nightgown. My head tilts as I observe the crudely sewn patches that cover the gown. It's easy to spot the section that was fixed by a witch. It's flawlessly mended. I look up to the boy again, and he's gone. What the hell is going on in this mansion? I drag my paws into the bedroom with Dove's dress between my teeth and drop it onto the floor. I still haven't found her. My eyes flicker over to the window again, still closed and secure. I start to whine. Where are you, Dove? I pace around the room. My nails step lightly on the floor. I sniff loose sheets of paper and books, but the entire room is already filled with the overwhelming scent of old paper and floral decay. I suck in a deep breath, then let out a long howl in distress. Where? Hush! I perk out at the sound of Dove's raspy mumble. Why are you being so noisy? I instantly turn towards the direction of her voice, and I face her bed. My eyes grow to the size of saucers. Has she been in her bed this entire time? I leap for the curtains of the canopy, launching onto them with my teeth, and I yank them open. Dove hisses from the light that disturbs the darkness she lies in. I stand up on my haunches, desperate to make sure she is really there. My whole body chills. My claws curl into the rumpled bed sheets at the foot of the bed. Wait, look at the scars! Is it from the burn, or did she... Wait, they look like cuts. Okay, what did her father do, or this boy? Because if it was the burn marks, there would be like spots, but this definitely looks like cuts. And she was crying. Look at her eyes. Poor girl. Dove squints at me in confusion. Hanging from the ceiling on the canopy, a cluster of dolls swing. Oh, right! I didn't even notice that these are dolls. Oh. Wow, that's creepy. Maybe from the rose bush again. Maybe. I mean, I'm still not deflecting the idea of father or that boy doing this to her. So. Crap. Yep, crap. And stare. I can see the white bone of their little heads twitch and wobble as they look down upon me. Their beady black eyes are devoid of any soul, yet I feel a weight pressed down on me from their gaze. Their dresses are elaborate, but she exposed parts of their bodies are roughly whittled and splintered, tied together with twine that bleeds red. Chunks of hardened skin and scraps of stiff fur cling to the bones that make up the dolls. Animal bones! Yui. I swallow and breathe shallowly. I would honestly be so scared sleeping under this amount of dolls. I'm surprised Dove is not that scared. Then again, she's the daughter of the witch, so I guess it's a normal thing for her, like a typical Tuesday. These had to have been made by the witch. Yeah, Sherlock. You noticed it. Between the dolls I spot dried flowers tangled in the strings that suspend them. I suppose the smell of dead lilacs is more favorable than the smell of rotting flesh. Ew. Dove pushes herself up onto her elbows and I stiffen when I hear her wince. She shifts more into the light, her sleeves pulling back in the process. Crawling from the tips of her fingers all the way up to her shoulders are shallow cuts that crisscross all over the expanse of her skin. Punished. That's what the boy said. Holy shit! Did her father do that? Evil, evil, evil. I don't care, he's... Like, he says that he loves her, and yet this is how he punishes her? Like, what kind of parent is that? I don't care if he's a witch. This is not how you treat your child. This whole place is a fucked up mess. Dove's face crunches in anger. Go away. Her voice comes out in a malicious hiss, yet I can see the way her shoulders shake, desperately trying to contain how she really feels. She really wants the company, yet she tries to show her that she's strong. She's not strong girl here. She needs someone who understands her. My brows pinch, and I feel a prick of irritation sweep over me. I hate seeing her do this, seeing her try to bottle up how she truly feels. Why can't she just let it all out? Would it really be that disastrous if she did? If she opened the gates of her heart just a little, would it feel like the world is ending? I look up to the dolls and stare into their observant eyes. They loom over Dove like wardens stationed in front of a beast's cage. I dig my claws into the sheets. I won't leave, or she wants me to leave her alone, so I will. Nope! I refuse to leave her alone, especially after witnessing these cuts. After witnessing these cuts? You fucking for real? Nah. I won't leave. Dove plops back down and sucks in a sharp breath. She tucks her blanket up to her ears, and I take that as a sign that I should leave her alone. But I don't. Dove lets out a small gasp when I jump onto the bed. She snaps her head up to look at me, her rounded eyes focused on me as I settle down right beside her. I don't want to be a scaredy cat anymore. My heart thuds as I rest my head on the pillow beside Dove's. She glares at me. Told you to go away! She tries to sound cold, but the tremble in her bottom lip and the curve of her pinched brows contradict her mask. I move even closer until my warmth is shared with Dove. Her expression finally falls apart. This is so cute and sad. I'm gonna cry. Yeah, for real. Oh my gosh. I tell her glossy blue eyes in mine. I hold her glossy blue eyes in mine. If my hands were human, I would catch the tears in her eyes before they could fall. I can see her thoughts racing, as though she's searching for her misplaced bravery. When do you go, Dove? What do the farthest corners of your mind look like? If it's too dark in there, I can join you. Maybe stumbling through the shadows will be easier if there are two of us instead of just one. Dove brings one of her hands out from under her covers. I close my eyes. Dove's hands carefully feels the floor along my neck. I stay completely still, giving her time to glow for confidence. Her feathery touch grows more firm, exploratory. Her palms runs around my back. When she feels more sure of my trust in her, she curls into my side. I feel her warm puffs of breath as she buries her face in the side of my neck. Her fingers grip my fur almost painfully, but I do nothing to stop. Her small frame quivers as a quiet stream of tears begin flowing down her cheeks. They hurt. After crying, Dove falls asleep, still clutching onto me. The dolls above stare directly at us as I lay with her. I narrow my eyes as I watch them hang lifelessly. If they dare to disturb Dove's sleep, I will tear them down and reduce them to splinters. They remain silent. However, my ears begin to pick up a sound. It sounds like the buzzing of flies. That was Siri's mother. I watch as Dove lights the final candle on the table. The flames flicker and devour each other until they form a single entity. I stare at the grey smoke that rises to the ceiling with worry. Before he died, he would make me treats behind his mother's back and show me his sketchbooks. They were too good for a place like this. That's why they didn't last long. Alive, at least. With a flick of her wrist, Dove kills the flame of her last matchstick. The flames grow bigger and bigger. She takes a step back to admire her work. Every candle on the dining room table has been lit. This was Dove's idea, to lure out the last ghost on our list. The flames roar and grow taller by the second. She crouches down to pick something up from the floor before promptly getting back up. The object sits on the palm of her hand. She looks down at it, closes her hand, and takes a step towards the flames. I tense at how close she moves to the fire. Hot air billows the pointed strands of her hair, and licks of flames come close enough to singe the ends. So we're burning the final ghost, and after that, maybe the curse will be lifted, I hope. Dove stares at the fire, mesmerized by the wisps of red, orange, and white. She lifts her hand like she means to kiss one of the infernal curls. That's all it takes for it to appear. Ziri manifests out of the shadows behind Dove.
Whoa, that's huge. Also very cool for thumbnail, but I already have one.
Her hands freeze in place when she hears its cry. Quick as always. I cringe at the coldness that drips from her words. Dove pulls her hand back, then fiddles with the object in her hands. I never asked for your protection. I don't need it. I never did. Her mouth curls downwards. She whispers so quietly, my ears twitch trying to catch her next words. I just wanted you to be my friend. She closes her hands together and a crease forms between her brows. Her eyes close. I'm sorry. You had to meet me. Her eyes open again. I can see her straining to not turn and look at the ghost one last time. Her lip starts to wobble, and I see her swallow a lump in her throat. Your mother is waiting for you, Ziri. Dove brings her the clutch of hair in her hands up to the flames. Ziri screams when it sees Dove approach the fire. It raises its long, thin arms just as the bundle of hair catches onto the flame. Out of all the others, these remains burn the easiest. Spindly fingers brush against her back, sending Dove into a violent flinch. She takes in a sharp breath and unconsciously recoils away from the ghost's touch before the flaming bundle in her hand is thrown to the heart of the fire. Ouch! So bright, my eyes. Ziri lets out a screech when it sees Dove move too close to the fire, then... I jump when Dove cries out. What happened? I watch as she stumbles back, clenching her hand in the process. Redness begins to form on the tips of her fingers. I yelp and rush to her side. The candle flames begin to burn out of control. Smoke fills the room, and I can hear Dove choke on the cough.
Oh no, are we accidentally caused the fire, Hazer? Right, plus it's a great number. Right, plus it is a great thumbnail as always. Thank you, Superman. But now we caused the fire hazard.
My heart thunders. Oh God, how are we going to put this out? Dove drops to her knees and covers her mouth and nose. The smoke grows thicker, making the room hard to see. I let out a whimper and grab Dove's sleeve. We have to get out of here! Dove fumbles forward and blinks away tears from the smoke. Soon after, I feel my own eyes burn. I try to stay low on the ground, but it's already become too hard to breathe. I wheeze for oxygen and try to drag Dove with me as I search for the way out of the room. Dove's body grows heavy. I can hear her rasp for air. Black dots start to creep into the corner of my vision. I can feel the strength in my body begin to deplete. Then I hear a series of snaps. Within seconds, the windows of the dining room burst open, and all the smoke in the room is magically pushed out with a strong gust of wind. I squeeze my watery eyes shut and slide onto the floor from the strength of the gale. My nails leave scratch marks where they claw into the floorboards. I'm pretty sure it's the witch who did this. I mean, he already knows what we were doing, so of course he would rush to the room, right? Dang it, I know I need to hide those matches. Suburban! Jesus Christ. When it stops blowing, I blink rapidly to return moisture to my eyes. Dove coughs and gags beside me on her hands and knees. I slowly try to lift myself off the floor. I go rigid at the sound of footsteps entering the dining room. Of course, I knew it! It's the witch! The witch's eyes rake over the room from the melted candles to the scorch marks on the ceiling. Eventually, they land on me and Dove as we attempt to recover from the smoke on the floor. He crosses his arms, and I see blood dripping down his arm from an activated magic circle. What a mess. Dove slowly stands up with her dress balled up in her hands. Clean this up. This room needs to look just as your mother left it when she comes back. I tilt my head and look at Dove. Her brows twitches, her expression turns into disbelief. I can see her knuckles turn white. Her mouth opens and closes like she has something to say, but no words come out. The witch turns on his heels and starts to make his exit. On his way out, he takes a dark handkerchief out of his pocket and cleans the blood off his arm. She'll finally be returning to us soon. Hi Riku, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing great. Hope you're having a nice morning or day or afternoon or night. And I hope you have delicious breakfast. Pardon. My tongue twisting. Right before the witch steps through the threshold, he looks over his shoulder. Not at Dove, but at me. I'm so taken aback from the intensity of his stare that the fur along my spine puffs up. I only remember to breathe once again after he breaks off his stare. Take good care of your little friend, Dove. He swiftly turns on his heel and leaves the room. Neither of us move an inch until his footsteps disappear down the hall. I barely dodge the books that Dove blindly tosses behind her as she ravages the bookshelves. Here she is, Angie! It's not possible! She chews on her thumbnail and sifts through a book before it joins the rest on the floor. Why? Why does it feel like he's telling the truth this time? I hear her let out an exasperated huff. She moves on from the bookshelves to her desk to ruffle through sheets of notes and journals. Nothing. Paper crunches between her fingers as she leans over the desk. I can see her shoulders trembling before sheets of paper are sent flying off the desk. He's lying! I cross my paws and lay my head on them. Dove drops down beside me and wraps her arms around her knees. I feel confused. What is it that has Dove so panicked? Is it because of what the witch had told her? So wait, he was lying all this time about her mother coming back? So wait, this is what I think. This is what I think happened. Somewhere or somehow her mother died, and he tried to resurrect her somehow, but nothing has worked. And maybe her mother died, but when Dove was born. So, oh wait, no. That would imply that she bought the dress before Dove was born. So no, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so mother probably died from some sort of illness, and Dove, the witch, probably the boy, knew it, and since they are the family of some sorcery magic, they tried to resurrect her, and but her father kept telling the lie that she will come back home soon, and stuff like that, and. Because she knew that it's a lie, she wouldn't believe it. But now probably things are different. This is one dysfunctional family. True. So true, so true. He said her mother would be returning soon. Was that not a good thing? I wonder where she's been this whole time. The corners of my mouth tucked down and my ears flattened. Dove still has both of her parents, but she doesn't seem happy about it. If I still had mine, maybe I wouldn't have made the choices that led me to this moment. Maybe I would be less foolish. I turned my head away from Dove and make a small whine. Dove definitely isn't that close to her father, but maybe her relationship with her mother is better? Basel, my sweet summer child, I also hope that her relationship with mother is better. But, and it's a big but, we have already witnessed how dysfunctional her father, how creepy and mysterious the boy is, and Dove itself tries to oppose like she's a brave girl, but in reality she's just a child, just like us. So I don't think that the relationship with mother is probably even better, but we can still hope. We can still hope. As long as they're still around, it's not too late for them to grow better bonds, like it is for me. Bitterness spreads through me. What's wrong? My forehead twitches at the feeling of light fingers brushing against them. They retreat quickly. Wolf? Dove's face pops up in front of me. What's wrong? I haven't turned my head away from her again. Dove scoffs and I ignore her. I don't feel hands dig under my arms and pick me up from the floor. I narrow my eyes at Dove and she holds me up face to face. Why are you being so moody now? I look away and try to worm my way out of her grip. Her grip only tightens at the feeling unfurls a coil of discomfort that causes me to act out before I can even think about it. I throw my weight forward and smash my head right into Dove's forehead. Dove screams and throws her head back, letting me go so she can massage the redness forming on the center of her forehead. I fall onto the floor and curl into a ball away from her, cradling my own head with my paws as I let out a small whimper. For a moment, the two of us lie curled up on the floor, writhing in twin agony. Ow! She shoots a glare at me. What's your problem? My eyes shut, ignoring her. I hear her sigh, then it goes quiet. Some time passes before I hear Dove start to shuffle around. Pages are leafed through and books are tossed recklessly until Dove's whispers are all that fills the room. My eyes close and I get lost in my own thoughts. Do you like fireworks? My eyes pop open and my ears perk up. I look at Dove and tilt my head. She kneels next to me, clutching a book in her lap nervously. She glances at me, then looks down on her lap. I can make them for you. I can feel my tail begin to sway and Dove's face lights up. I've never seen fireworks before. The study is thankfully empty when we enter it. Dove crosses the floor, moving from shelf to shelf to gather materials. She places small vials of powders on the floor in front of me. Using certain types of metal is what determines the color of the firework. I follow her hand as she points to individual vials. Copper for blue, sodium for yellow, barium for green, strontium for red. She places her hand on her lap and observes the metals with a melancholic look. I've never actually made a firework on my own before. Father used to make them by hand when Mother was around. Every year on my birthday. Oh, baby. My ears flop down at the frown Dove wears. She gathers the rest of the supplies and quickly starts to make small satchels with fuses trailing out to them. She casts furtive glances in my direction as she assembles them. When she is done, she wipes a smudge of explosive powder off her cheek. The floor is a mess of materials, but Dove pays it to no mind and stands. There's just one more thing we need. My head pops up and my tail begins to wag again. Dove notices my excitement and brightens in what almost seemed like relief. She holds up a finger. We just need a tube to launch the fireworks out of. Dove starts to search the study, pulling open drawers and yanking cabinet doors wide. Her cheeks pop out every time her search doesn't bear fruit. And she's so cute doing that. I poke my head out from under her arm to get a peek into the cabinet. She digs into boxes and pulls out bottles until she reaches the back of the cabinet. She strains her arm to feel out the farthest corners, as though what she's looking for is cloaked by a spell. Her effort turns up nothing, and she retracts her arm with a disappointed huff. Where does he keep them? She chews on her thumbnail in thought and does another lap around the room, double-checking every place she's looked. I wander around the room on my own. Perhaps my lower perspective will see something Dove doesn't. Also, is my avatar not working again? Yep, it's not working again. I cannot switch again. The emotes! Hold on. Hold up. Hold up. Let me. Okay, it switches again. Okay, should be working. Dove has dysfunctional family. I have a dysfunctional avatar. A small witch with fireworks, so this will go well. I hope it will go well, but again, that's how things are going right now in this game. I hope so. Okay. I wander around the room on my own. Perhaps my lower perspective will see something Dove doesn't. Mouse! What the fuck? To my luck, I spot what looks like a paper tube at the bottom of a shelf, tucked away between worn books and jars. I make an excited yip and trot over to it. I waste no time gently grabbing the tube with my mouth. Then I notice the pale feet behind the shelf. Uh-oh. A cry rips out of my throat. I drop the tube and startle back from the shelf with my tail between my legs. Are we going to see her mother? Judging by reaction of the dove, yep. I hear the slap of Dove's feet make their way over to me. She looks at me in confusion. What's got you all worked up? I stare at the feet behind the shelf, holding my breath to see if they'll suddenly start moving. My whole body is racked with fear. That doesn't look like another ghost. Dove follows my line of sight, and I see her go still when she sees what's behind the shelf. It can be! Her eyes are wide in disbelief. I jump when Dove suddenly shoots off to the side of the shelf. Help me move it! My jaw unhinges. Help her? As much as I would rather not, I make my the things are getting way too fast. My tongue is like As much as I would rather not, I make my way over and push against the shelf with my whole body. Books topple onto the floor and glass bottles rattle together as we slowly move the narrow shelf, inch by inch, until the dark curtain behind it is exposed to us. My heart pounds, my muscles ache. We both take a moment to process what we have found. Who we found. What do you mean, who? Don't tell me it's her mother. Again, my avatar is not working. Jesus Christ. Hold on. Again. Why is it like this? I still cannot. I really need to. I really don't know what's happening with the avatar. It's like a moment it works fine, then it glitches. So I cannot I cannot even change expressions. Like I cannot even change to this. I cannot change to that. Let's see if it works. If it works fine. Let me switch to the scared one because I'm pretty sure that we are going to witness something we shouldn't have been witnessing. I can see Dove's hands fidgeting in the corner of my vision. I swallow hard. Then I move forward towards the steel curtains. There is no smell of decay. Instead, there seems to be a light hint of something floral. It's surprisingly pleasant. I brace myself, then drag open the curtains with my teeth. Dove chokes on the gas behind me, and the floor creaks. I give her a quick glance and see that she's taken a step back. It's hard to understand the expression she wears. She seems to go through a string of them. Her face becomes painted with disbelief. For a wink of time, a spark of yearning lights up in her eyes, and her expression splits into anguish. I turn back to the person behind the curtain. The woman. So it is her mother behind? Her skin is pure ivory, untouched by rigor mortis, but suspended just a breath away from its ruinous claws. Death's presence feels so close, like it paces back and forth, waiting to claim what is rightfully theirs. The gown she wears is a shiny white silk, buttoned all the way up to her chin, with red stitching that zigzags up her skirt in chaotic fashion. Something about the way the crimson threads loop up and down the skirt feels spiteful, impatient. My brows pinch together. I've seen stitching like that before. Her light hair is chopped sharply, framing her jaw, and the panel behind her head looks like an explosion of colorful paint strokes. Bald tendrils of gore and mycelium spread along the wood. Ew. Fungi of different shapes and sizes bloom around her head like a horrific halo. So this is her mother? She stands with her eyes closed in the hidden closet, like a marionette. Her arms hang neatly at her sides. When I look for strings that hold her up, I disturbedly find none. I'm almost curious to see if she has a wind-up key behind her that would bring her to life. I don't think that it's a doll. I'm pretty sure it's a body. She's clearly dead, but she's preserved so well that I fall under the illusion of that a nudge of her shoulder is all it would take to make her eyes flutter open. So your father kept her body all this time like this? No wonder he lied to her so many times. But what is he planning to do? Unlike the others, her entire body has been kept. And unlike the others, there is no tag with her name on it. But it doesn't matter. I already know it. Hypatia. I freaking knew it! Hypatia is her mother's name! How long has she been tucked away here? Hidden like a rare gem in a jewelry box. I now understand why her remains were not found amongst the others. The tether that binds her here could only be this strong if her whole body was kept. She's been here this entire time. My ears twitch at the sound of Dove's voice. I started blinking rapidly when Dove strides over to the side of the shelf again and starts pushing it back into the place. She's covering her up again? Maybe she doesn't want the witch to know what we've discovered? I tilt my head. But are we just going to do nothing about her? My head thrums with conflicted feelings. Once the shelf is settled back into its original position, she picks up the paper tube I dropped and starts making her way over to the pile of sachets on the floor. Let's go. I give the shelf one last glance, then trail after dove. We both stare at the rain that falls through the hatch to the roof. Each drop of water clangs against the iron stairs. My ears fall flat on my head. Can we still light fireworks in the rain? The face Dove makes as she guards the fireworks gives me my answer. I softly whimper. Dove gives me a sympathetic look, then looks up to the open hatch in contemplation. She chews on her lip, deep in thought. Her face lights up shortly after. We just need to make sure the fuse doesn't get wet.
Okay. How can I do that when it's raining?
My brows raise when Dove starts to bound down the stairs, and I quickly chase after her.
From what I can tell, the dark plant magic use keeps her preserved, but in stasis-like state. But it also means this body may be soulless. Maybe, and maybe what the witch was doing all this time is trying to get her soul back. But again, like I said, when it comes to resurrection stuff, you are not the same anymore. Not your body, well, maybe if the body is like perfectly the same, your soul is not the same anymore. Like, you're a completely different person, so... And also when it comes to resurrection stuff, it's always very tedious, very dangerous, and if you are really... You need to be really committed to that. Like, basically to the point that you are willing to give up on everything you have in your life in order to resurrect someone. Which is why for me it's better to let someone go but preserve their memories inside my head rather than trying to bring them back alive if they didn't even ask for it, let's just say. Because again, they will not be the same person. The soul will not be the same with them. Even if the body is like perfectly maintained. This is a terrible idea. We have to stuff the shell in nice and tight, or it will misfire. We are going to get ourselves killed. With fireworks? Oh, don't tell me she's going to launch fireworks in her own room. Because if that's the case, this is really a terrible idea. It hasn't even been that long since we set the dining room on fire. True, it's so true. Oh my gosh. My tail swishes anxiously as I watch Dove aim the paper tube towards her open bedroom window. She angles the tube just shy of where the rain hits her floor. When she's satisfied with the aim, she looks at me with an excited grin. Are you ready? I shake my head furiously. No. That's me. I mean, there's a hole in the roof, right? Again, it's raining outside in the game, so... Whatever she's planning to do, I hope it will work like that. This is crazier than lighting up a table's worth of candles all at once. Maybe. My loud thoughts come out as nothing more than a whine. Don't worry so much. She holds a lit candle up to the fuse, and my forehead stands up on end. I swallow as the fuse begins to burn. Just sit back and watch. I count each second that passes as the fuse burns away until it disappears into the tube.
Dove tightens her arms around the tube and braces herself. I suck in a breath, then light explodes in bursts of colors against the bleeding canvas. The room lights up in flashes, and the sound from the explosions rattles my bones. The sight takes all the breath out from my lungs. My heart thunders against my ribs, and I start to feel weightless. It's overwhelming, intense, frightening, and exhilarating. It's amazing. I race to the window, stand with my front paws on the window seat to get a closer look at the fireworks. The rain pelts against my forehead and gets in my eyes, but I barely paid any mind. Is this how Dove felt? In that moment where she stood facing the tempestuous storm head on? My tail swings madly with excitement. Emotions of awe and wonder rush through me. I try to memorize the moment. The sound of the wind being drowned out by the fireworks, how the rain makes my nose feel frozen, the way the light looks when the fireworks explode. And Dove. I crane my head to look back at her after the fireworks are done. She stands, staring at the sky, lost deep in thought. I feel uneasy over the conflict reflected on her face. Dove grips her dress, and I notice the messy patchwork of stitches that holds the thin fabric together. She inhales deeply. I let out a yip when she suddenly bolts out of the room. I rush into the study just as Dove finishes shoving the tall bookshelf to the side again. Dove, what are you planning to do? She looks angry. She breathes heavily as she yanks open the curtains that hide the body behind them. My eyes bug out of my head when I see what she does next. Dove grabs handfuls of corpse bodies, then rips it open. She does what? Buttons pop and fly. Dove's jaw is clenched tightly as she takes in the colorless flesh beneath the clothes. There is a stitch mark! A freezing chill crawls beneath my skin as I observe the neat, thick stitches trailing up the corpse's torso all the way to her throat. Dove takes a deep breath in before digging her fingers into the seam between the sewn-up skin. The taut threads begin to snap as she roughly tears it open. I don't know if it's gonna be too gory, so I'm going to... Meow! As I think I will put the spoiler image just in case, because if it's gonna be like too gory, I don't want to like be boinked. Let's just say. I will remove the image once it's done. Ah, okay, it's not yet. My most recent meal threatens to escape when Dove reveals the organs beneath the corpse's flesh. Okay. Still not yet. Dead organs never look bright, especially with a color like hers. I would question if this woman were truly dead if it wasn't for the stillness of her insides. Perhaps she isn't even a real corpse, merely a disturbing replica of one. Oh. Oh, okay, so it's not like It's not like it's organs, but it's just bones. Okay. Well, it's not too bad, I think. Well, so much for using only magic. True. This meme block was brought to you by Sabra. Yep, true. That's true. This meme is sponsored by one of the most precious followers, Suburban. Oh boy. Okay. Not a perfect one, however, considering the 3 random ribs she seems to be missing. I would say even 5, but okay. Damn it! I startle when Dove curses abruptly. She takes a step away from the corpse and begins to pace in a small circle. All this effort to keep her here! She throws the woman a look of pure scorn. When do you get all his time? Her lip wobbles. And I'm still here. Oh. Wait, so Dove knew her mom died and she wanted her father to she wanted her her father's love and admiredness as to the daughter, but he was so focused on resurrecting mother that he neglected his own daughter. Please never be like that, guys. Trust me. Be with your daughters and sons, and not be dicks. My heart sinks when I see Dove's clenched fist tremble. I look at the corpse in confusion. Just who is she to Dove? Dove's face hardens. She looks down at me. Help me find her ribs. I blink at her demand. You wanted to put all the ghosts to rest, didn't you? Dove takes a step towards me, and I take a step back. You wanted to end their suffering, right? Isn't it unfair for them to be stuck here? My ears spin back. We must get rid of her. She straightens and glares at the corpse. Dove tears her gaze from the corpse and begins to leave. I hear her murmur something to herself. Before she comes back. I mean, Dove, I understand your anger and that you really understood that we wanted to set all the ghosts free, but while she's like this, maybe we can try to go outside, dig the grave, like give a proper burial or something like that before burning anything. Like, if anything, I can help to burn the whole place down. I'm a paramaniac. I'm just kidding, guys. It'll be sometime before I have kids, but yes, yep. Dove moves through the mansion like a hurricane. She empties the drawers on the floor and throws books off shelves. I keep my distance and quietly do my own searching. This feels much different than when we released the other ghosts. A sinking feeling chews away at me. Suddenly, I feel regret for what I've started. I wonder if this is the right thing to do. It's like Dove's vision has narrowed to the point where she can't see anything but this impulsive need to be rid of the hallway ghost. I look down at the dusty floor. Get rid of... When this ghost is gone, I wonder if Dove will like what its absence looks like. Where are they? Dove sweeps everything off the top of the dresser with a curse. In an instant, everything clatters onto the floor. Dove whips around and bangs her fists on the dining room table. Candles fall and tremble from the small quake she creates. Okay, calm down, my paramaniac. Just kidding, just kidding. Just kidding! Candles fall and tremble from the small quake she creates. She releases a frustrated sigh, then freezes. My ears stand. I try to strain my neck to see what has captured Dove's attention. Pardon? But I can't see the top of the dining room table. Dove climbs on top of the table. My heart begins to thump with anticipation. She crawls to the middle of the table, shoving melted candles out of her way. The wood groans under her weight like she had disturbed its sleep. Her hand slowly reaches out to pick up a single candle before climbing back down onto the floor. Waiting to see what she's found fills me with anxiety. I make my way over to her and she lowers down to kneel on the floor. Something sticks out of the melted candle as she cradles in her hand. I recognize the texture of it. A bone. A bone in the candle. Jesus Christ. This is kinda smart, but also very terrifying. Dove digs her nails into the wax, trying to claw her way to the bone. She then presses the candle into the floor with all her weight, pushing down on it until the hard wax crumbles. The rib is finally freed, but she does not look as victorious as I thought she would. A line forms between her brows. So this is the rib bone from that body.
I had a feeling.
My head falls to the side and I look at the doll. Her gaze meets mine.
It's like they are filling up the space for her until she gets back.
I feel my heart pause for a moment. My wide eyes drop down to the rib. Oh. Dove rises and I copy the movement without thinking. I feel numb.
I know where to look next.
I nod, but my mind feels miles away from my body. A faint buzzing makes my ears twitch. I twist my head towards it. Buzzing flies whip around the candles on the dining room table.
You spent a lot of time in here, but not to study, like Father and I.
Dove speaks to herself as she walks past a shelf of books, slowly running a hand along their spines. Well, maybe she isn't quite speaking to herself, but she's most definitely not speaking to me. I see Dove open and close her mouth. It seems as though her mind is overflowing with words to say, but she sees no point in speaking when the person her words are for isn't around. Her sharp eyes look through the shelves. I follow behind her until we end up in a dark corner. Section by section, the candlelight illuminates each book's spine. A large mirror on the wall briefly shakes Dove, but she continues her search nonetheless. In the dim light, I make out what looks like a pile of blankets and pillows on the floor below the mirror, as well as an old oil lantern covered in sticky cobwebs. The sound of a fallen book brings us both to a stiff halt. I crane my neck up as my feet move back from the shelf where the book had come from. Another book suddenly tumbles off the shelf. I barely dodged it. I can only watch as the shelves begin to bend from the weight of something climbing up and down among the books. I mean, I seen the skull with a candle on top of it, so it's kinda clever. Kinda again, but still horrifying. Creaking wood screeches in my ear as more books fumble down. Dove and I both track the movement in dead silence, our senses as heightened as the bookshelves. In an instant, we bring our eyes to a particular book. I squint, trying to make out more details of the book. The book sits oddly, squeezed between two others on the very top shelf. Despite being so high, the spine appears extremely worn, like it's been plucked to be read over and over again. The library ceiling is incredibly tall. The top of the bookshelf is practically in the heavens. My body tenses in anticipation, hoping this mysterious library resident does us a favor and knocks it down onto the floor. But it remains tightly lodged. I make a small noise to get Dove's attention and point my nose at it. She seems to have already noticed it. The corners of her mouth are weighted down as she sets the candle on the floor, moving towards the shelf with unhurried steps. My chest pounds as I watch the shelves searching for movement. Nothing. I share a nervous glance with Dove before she sucks in a deep breath and starts climbing the shelf. My nerves are lit with fear, keeping my eyes wide open in vigilance. I start to relax a little once Dove reaches the halfway point. Her shoulders tremble from exertion and her breasts come out in shaky puffs. She stops to take a quick rest before swinging her gaze down with scrunched brows. Just halfway up the shelf must be high enough for the floor beneath to feel as steady as sand. She retracts her eyes quickly from the side, ready to keep going. She lifts her hand to move further up, but not before the sound of book growling begins to echo, not far from where she clings to with all her might. I go cold. Did we get found? Were we found? Dove gasps and her hand slips. I yip in alarm and dig my nails into the floor as Dove struggles to find a steady grip again, her feet dangling loosely in the air. My tail swishes in distress, and my mind races. It halts to a single thought. The blankets! I race towards the bundle of blankets I had seen earlier, gathering a mouthful of quilt before looking up at the shelf again. The mirror on the wall directly faces the shelf Dove is clinging to. She finally secures her footing once again, but not soon enough. Immediately, a headless... Ow! Oh. I bit my tongue! Oh. Ouch! I bit my tongue while I was reading. What the hell? I guess it's just me, but since I see stuff like that in cartoons, it's not that scary to me, but I can see why others would be. Sure, that's understandable. When in cartoons, it's more like it seems cool, edgy, and like something gothic style. But yeah, in real life, it's hard to walk around it because again, it can lead to many creepy cases. You okay? Yeah, I'm fine. It's just I think I read too fast that my tongue got between teeth and just like bite. Immediately, a headless creature reaches the shelf she had just dangled over. A headless creature, you say? Uh-oh, we need to help Dove. A shudder crawls up my spine as I finally see the thing in the full. Its arms are long in proportion, resembling the limbs of a gangly spider. Its skin saturated in decayed darkness with a sickly sheen. A coiled stump sits in place of its neck, as though the creature's head had been twisted off. I watched as it weightlessly claws along the shelves. Oh, it's Dove! Oh no, we need to save Dove! I released a string of panicked barks, causing Dove to twist her neck around right towards the mirror. Dove goes completely white, then shoots up the shelf in a rush. I drop the quilt from my mouth and circle the floor frantically. My eyes dart between Dove climbing in a rush for her reflection, the monster still hot on her heels. I see her arms shake and hear her nails rake across the wood. The old shelves creak and curve under Dove's feet. I feel myself lurch to the side when the entire bookshelf starts to lean forward. As the books continue to fall forward, I start to worry that the bookshelf will give in to gravity before Dove does. As she continues to climb, she faces the challenge of ducking her head to avoid falling text, throwing a few out of her way for better purchase. At this point, if she were to fall, broken legs might be the least of her problems. The closer she gets to the top shelf, the faster the creature continues to pursue her. Oily hands narrowly miss her feet, permeating every book with a glossy slime. I wince at the mere thought of literally pages coated in cold ghost fluids, melting the ink and sneering every word into non-existence. The creature grows frustrated in its chase and begins to slam its fists on the shelves, shattering them into crunchy wet splinters. It violently rocks its entire body, making the bookshelf rumble unsteadily. Dove lets out a squeal and almost loses her grip. She is forced to throw her arms onto a shelf just before reaching the very top. "You're so close, Dove! Don't give up!" The creature leaps off of a fallen shelf and bounds right for Dove. I hear him make a strained noise. She stretches her arm up in desperation, reaching for the strange book. The entire bookshelf shakes violently again. I watch the mirror's reflection with my breathing held in suspension. Dove's trembling fingers stretch for the book's spine, while a slimy hand closes around her ankle. Her fingers brush against the book before the creature yanks Dove back, and she slips away. I howl in surprise and prepare to throw myself under her. I see Dove dangling upside down in the air with a befuddled expression on her face. My jaw drops. Dove swings in the creature's grip as it languidly reaches up and tugs at the book Dove previously tried to grab. The book slides out with the pull of a murky finger and slams onto the floor right in front of me. Dove wears a dazed expression as she's carried down the shelf before being unceremoniously dropped into a heap. Slowly she picks herself up off the ground and quickly puts herself together. We turn to the mirror to see the creature disappear to some other parts of the library. Blinking, she dusts off her dress, then makes a repulsed expression as she carefully picks up the fallen book, touching only the parts not coated in a shiny fluid without another word. The old pages conform around something shoved in the middle of the book. Dove opens it. There lies another rib, tucked between words like a bookmark. For a moment, I watched Dove's eyes flicker back and forth, reading the words on the pages. I still don't know if I believe in soulmates, but if they existed, I think the universe would send signs. Signs like the ones they already sent to us.
And look, she has feet. Yes, she does.
Dove's mouth forms a hard line before she takes the rib out and snaps the book closed. A romance novel. I blink. That's it? She shelves the book once more without another word. One more. I began to follow Dove out, but I soon stopped dead in my tracks. There it is again. The sound of buzzing. But this time, its presence is much more looming. I snap my head back and flies crawl over the book, far more than there was in the dining room. My heart starts to beat hard in my chest. I feel like I'm tracing the footsteps of someone I've never met before. We walk in and out of rooms searching for the last rib. Dove bites on her thumbnail as she searches through dressers and drawers, all of which have a lingering presence attached to them. It relieves and unnerves me that we have not seen the boy or the witch today, despite all the commotion we've been causing, but I try to count it as a small blessing instead of an omen. I pass slowly through the hall as Dove stomps through it. We pass the doors of rooms that have already been ravaged, all except for one, but Dove passes by it completely. Curiously, I pause in front of it. Is she not going to search this one? Dove turns back when she no longer hears the click of my nails behind her. Her eyes catch onto the door I've stopped in front of it. That's nothing but a bathroom. Bathroom? I give Dove a small woof. It's nothing special. Dove's brows furrow. But she went through quite a fuss to have it made, just for the drain in her pretty tub to stop working. Dove sweeps past me and bursts through the door. And I say blood! A bloody bath, perfect for the vampire to bathing. The sound of dripping water echoes in the small room. Dove's feet make a wet slapping sound on the red tiles. When she steps further into the bathroom, the red sticks to her feet, revealing the pristine white tiles beneath. I hesitate to follow Dove in because I finally spot the source of the rubby liquid that stains the floor. The tang of metal fills the air, and blood drips over the edge of the porcelain tub that sits under the tall window. I take a deep breath in and carefully step past the doorway. The ground is slick and the air is moist. I concentrate on every step I take so I don't fall flat on my face. Dove stands before the tub. When I finally reach her side, I carefully lift my front paws up on the edge of the tub and peer into it. Well, there's more actual blood for a change. Churro! I can see my face clearly in the still surface of the crimson pool that fills the tub to the brim. It just became like this one day. And Dove's face is strained. It looks like she would rather choke on her words than say them loud. I didn't want to know what would happen if I tried to put my hand in it. Dove inhales deeply in preparation, then pulls up the sleeve of her dress to her shoulder. I throw a nervous glance at the cuts across her skin that are still freshly scrubbed over. Okay, let me... hold on, guys, I'm gonna mute my mic for a moment. Okay, I'm back, guys. Sorry for sudden little noises. Okay, where we are. I throw a nervous glance at the cuts across her skin that are still freshly scrubbed over. Pray nothing in here likes the taste of flesh. Dove lets out a small gasp when she dips only her fingers into the blood. She rips her hand away instinctively and breathes shallowly. It's warm. A shiver crawls up my spine. The stickiness under my paws begins to make me uncomfortable. Dove presses her eyes shut for a second, then dips her arm back in. I can see goosebumps rise on Dove's arm before it sinks into the red. She goes slow until she reaches the bottom of the tub. Her arm shifts as she searches for the drain. The sleeve of her dress slips off her shoulder and falls into the blood. Red bleeds into the white fabric. Red bleeds into the white fabric. I hear Dove's breath hitch when she finds something. My whole body is bound. Okay, I need to pause for a moment, guys. Okay, I'm back. My whole body is wound up tight. The tension in the air is thick enough to cut with a knife. The sound of a dripping faucet haunts me. Immediately, something at the end of the tub makes my eyes snap to it. I let out a loud cry. Dove jumps and looks at me before she whips her neck around to the small sound of bubbling.
Don't tell me something is inside the bathtub full of blood.
We both watch in horror as something beneath the surface of the blood begins to breathe into life. The bubbles begin to crawl towards Dove, pulling a shriek from my throat. Dove grits her teeth and plunges her arm deeper into the pool of scarlet. Sweat runs down her pale skin as she concentrates intensely on unlodging whatever was blocking the drain. I whimper as I watch the bubbling move closer and closer. Dove releases a shaky breath, but she still doesn't pull her arm out. The bubbles are just a breath away from brushing against Dove's arm. She lets out a sharp hiss and grits her teeth. Get out! I latch my teeth onto the back of Dove's dress and rip her away from the tub. I throw us onto the slippery tiles. Blood splashes all over us. It takes me a moment to catch my breath. When my senses slowly return to me, I hear the sound of gurgling. I look to my side. Dove lies next to me, curled in a ball. Her eyes are squeezed shut, her chest rising and falling heavily. Cradled in her red-covered hands is a rib bone. The buzzing noise that arises this time does not surprise me, but the merciless insistence of it does cause me to pin my ears to my head with a whimper.
So we are both covered in blood, got the ribs we needed, and now we go to the place where the witch is definitely going to find us. Great, fucking great. Who expects Bloody Mary? No, I hope not. And also I hope not Piranha or anything like that, so... But it seems like it's either the creatures that the witch himself put to guard these bones,
Or it's a spirit trying to say something to us. Again, we set all the remaining ghosts free. So why shouldn't we do the same with this lady? When we once again stand before Hypatia's body, we've covered in much more blood than when we started. Her body has also started acting more like a corpse. Flies crawl over the woman's blotchy skin, and the sour smell of rot now invades my nose, making it wrinkle in discomfort. Bringing the missing ribs feels like it's broken some kind of spell on the body, like it had been sitting in the time's blind spot. And now we are placing it back under its harsh light once again. Perhaps this is why Dove now hesitates. She clenches the rib bones with a wide-knuckled grip. I'm slightly worried they will snap into pieces any moment now. Her face is glazed over with a blank mask, but the weariness in her eyes betray her. Earlier she had been in such a rush to send this person away, but now she seems to be stalled by her own thoughts. Guess it's not that preserved after all. Yep. Hi Jay, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing great. Hope your morning started well, and I hope you had a nice, delicious breakfast. It's not Zoe Suburban, it's AJ. But if Zoe is also here, they can come out and say hi. When she finally breaks out of her head, she stumbles over to a drawer and rummages through it. She produces a needle, a roll of thread, and one more thing off a shelf, a bottle that glows a faint orange. She makes her way over to the body. She makes quick work of placing the ribs back where they belong before plugging out the old broken stitches that held Hypatia's torso together. Her hands had been so rough in tearing the stitching open, but now her trembling fingers work delicately. After disposing of them, she begins to mend the flesh together. Her stitching is clumsy, a trait she shares with her mother, I suppose. When she is finished, she takes a step back. This ghost is so different from the others. It feels like whatever happens next will be the point of no return. The final stop of this train is approaching, and the only way out of this ride is to jump before it crashes. I guess this is the final point. Dove holds up the glowing bottle she had grabbed earlier. Liquid fire. It can melt through anything. We don't have to risk burning the house down again. Get the hell off my screen. My chest tightens. This is it. Dove places a hand on the corpse's arm, then tears her from the alcove. The corpse clumps to a heap on the floor. I won't be making the mistake of thinking this body could simply wake up and continue living anymore. It decays rapidly before my very eyes, like it's overly eager to correct itself to the rightful stage of necrosis. Hypatia's pale skin darkens and patches to a death green. Veiny line starts to marble across her cheeks, and an oily sheen begins to develop, along with a foul smile that has me breathing shallowly. I flinch from the sound of Dove popping the cork out from the bottle. Panic surges through me. I don't feel ready at all. But I keep finding out that there are not many changes that wait for you to be before they become your new reality. The corpse's flesh begins to dissolve from the pouring liquid. It sizzles and hisses as it easily eats through flesh, all the way through to the bone. She covers the body thoroughly with a honey-like substance until the last drop falls from the bottle's mouth. I lift my gaze from the corpse. It lands on the hallway ghost standing in the room with us. So this is Hypatia? I thought it was a different ghost. I've never seen it enter a room before. But now it turns its neck, looking around the room as if in search for something. Dove drops the bottle in her hand and she sees her, and it cracks on the floor. She rips her gaze away and looks down at the disintegrating corpse. You'll finally be gone now. I can see Dove's eyes turn glossy. You'll be gone. Her head snaps back to the ghost. The ghost looks down at its fading hands. Its lifeless gaze finds Dove and turns to her with its arms spread, ready to pull her into a loving embrace. Whatever emotions Dove has been bottling up instantly shatter like glass. My mind feels foggy as I watch Dove break into a sob. I move before she does. Dove chokes on the gasp when I stop her from running to the ghost. What are you doing? Let go! I tighten the grip of my jaws around her skirt even more. I whimper my own cry towards her. I understand. I've done something like this before. When the world was so big and I was so small, everything terrified me. When I was overwhelmed with emotions and didn't understand a thing, I would always run into the arms of my mother too. Let go! Oh, we have the choice. Oh wait, whoa. Was it timed? Oh yes, it was timed. Oh fuck. Okay. Oh my gosh. So we have the choice to let the dove hug her mother, or we pull her back. Like I don't even know what's the best choice here, because if we let dove hug her mother, won't something bad happen to her? Like, I don't know. I don't know what's the best choice. Let me save here properly. Pull her back. I know what will happen the second the ghost's phantom arms wrap around her living body. I don't think my heart will be able to take it if I have to hear Dove scream in pain again. Soul or body, she can never reach for either again without getting burned. I wish Dove wasn't constantly reminded of what it feels like to be pain. It's like everyone that loves Dove cannot show it if it's not in the form of a stinging lash. Is this how it has to be? Dove drops to her knees and cries. I don't care if she hates me for stopping her. Perhaps she truly prefers to say goodbye as her flesh sears, but I won't let her. What was it like when she first lost her? Is this her first or second farewell? Dove must have so much to say, but time races against her. I think if Hypatia's life were an hourglass, it would be down to a single grain of sand. One tiny moment is all that has been spared for Dove to say a lifetime's worth of words. The ghost fades more and more. I wait for the sound that will signal the end. That sound over the final grain falling. Dove sniffles and presses her forehead into the cool floorboards. In another life, can you still be my mother? My breath hitches. Next time. She wipes the thick tears that drip down to her chin. It would be nice if we could be human. Then maybe I could be enough for you. And you could be enough as well. Dove lifts her head. Something that looks like a smile cracks through the ghost's features. The ghost's face softens in a way that looks proud of Dove and confusingly. Dove reacts like she's been slapped across the face. Don't look at me like that! Like this is what you wanted! She clenches her fists. I never asked for this! Dove's scream makes my chest tighten painfully, but for some reason, I find my brows pinching together in puzzlement. She never asked for this? What does she mean by that? I'll probably head out and get some breakfast. Have a good day. Okay, AJ, have a nice, good breakfast. Then it comes. The last grain finally falls, and falls so heavily. It rings so loud in my skull that my ears go flat. I don't need to look, I just slide up to Dove's side. I can tell by the way she wraps her arms around me so tightly, and how loudly she sobs into my fur, that the ghost of her mother is gone. For good this time. The door to Dove's bedroom flies open and slams against the wall. Uh-oh. I feel Dove go still as a statue under my head. I lift my head up from her lap. The hand that had been patting the floor along my spine now holds it in a mumbling grip. I feel his magic before I see him. Oh, wait, why my avatar is not... Oh, it's changed. Okay. I forgot to change the avatar. My bad. My bad. The grotesque dolls above us rattle, and the drapes around Dove's bed tremble. Soon after, his footsteps enter into the room. My breathing pauses. Dove's father must have finally seen what we did. A burst of magic knocks me over. I hear Dove gasp and feel her arms cage around me. Air slams into us like a train and sends the canopy curtains into a wild below. The cold air makes my eyes sting, and I squeeze them shut. He is angry at us. Static makes my force stand. It feels like the wind is blended with shocking strings of electricity. When the gale finally dies down, I can feel Dove's heart slamming against her ribs as she shields my body with her own. Her breath comes out in distressed gasps. I dare to open my eyes again, and darkness surrounds us. My own heart hammers away as I gaze out into the space beyond the posts of the bed frame. The curtains have been magically dissolved, leaving us completely exposed to the void.
What the fuck?
Every shallow breath I make sounds enhanced by the nothingness. Everywhere I look is swallowed by darkness, save for a single light that drapes over Dove's bed. I look up, trying to find its source. It seems to come from nowhere.
So, what am I gonna do now, guys?
I take a peek over the edge of the bed. I can see my own appearance reflected in the obsidian surface that covers the ground. Ripples break the calmness of the glassy liquid caused by something that walks towards us. Arms yank me back from the edge of the bed. Dove scarcely breathes. She holds me close and twists her body in an attempt to hide me from the one who approaches. It's the witch. It's him! I brace myself to face his wrath. His footsteps create a wet slap as he draws closer. The sound of the footsteps is much lighter than I expected them to be. My whole body seizes with terror. What have you done? It's the boy, it's not the witch. Dove flinches from the wave of energy that radiates off of him. A feeling of nausea pains my innards as the boy steps out of the shadows instead of the witch. Dove's breath catches and her arms shake around me. They hold onto me like a lifeline. The light from above creates harsh shadows over the boy's enraged features. You insolent child! Do you understand what you've done? The boy bares his teeth in a sneer. He circles around the bed with his hands behind his back, like a viper taking its time to stalk its prey before it strikes. My ears flatten from the threat in his venomous stare. I turn my head, trying to keep him in my line of sight, but his body flickers to the shadows like a spectre.
The brother is the witch. I think so. Wait. What if the father we saw and this boy are the same person? Can it be?
One moment he appears normal, the next moment the pristine white skull of a wolf decorates the upper part of his face. He really is a witch as well.
Or maybe he's just a brother, never mind.
The boy raises his hands to his head and curls into himself.
I was so close! We could have had everything again!
Dove leans forward and tightens her arms around me.
We don't need her!
The boy snaps in her direction.
Run! I need her!
The boy begins to pace back and forth, water sloshing at his feet. My brows furrow. I crane my neck to look onto the ground again. I mean, his hair looks like his. Yeah, I know, right?
The black liquid now gurgles and splashes against the frame of the bed as it slowly climbs higher and higher.
This is no good at all.
So what? We'll be fine. I can hear Dove start to sniffle above me. The child whips around and grabs the two posts at the foot of the bed. I hear them crack under his grip.
I will not be fine.
Dove's breathing turns raged.
To think you would betray her so.
Dove hiccups and hides her face in my neck. You know all the expectations she had for you. I suppose she'll be so proud of what you've done.
I hear Dove gasp.
She would really love what you've become. So wicked, all on your own.
The boy's face twists into a wry smile. I can hear the wooden posts under the boy's hands start to splinter. Soon after, something begins to slither up from the dark waters. Tendrils of oily black vines coil up the frame of the bed and slowly crawl towards us. Thorns, resembling long and sharp needles, spike out from them. The boy's face suddenly falls into despair and his gaze drops. If she hadn't become so greedy, I wouldn't have had to do what I did. I watch his expression turn sore before his head snaps back up to glare at Dove with glassy eyes. She's all I have! The posts break in half. Dove throws herself over me as the broken wood is swallowed by the rising ebony lake around us, creating a deafening splash. Dove's cold body trembles, and I feel anger swell in me like dark waves. Does Dove truly mean nothing to him? I start to crawl. The boy glares viciously at Dove. Now you've made things considerably more difficult. Do you know how much more we will have to pay to bring Hypatia back? This is not fine at all, Dove. I hear Dove break into a sob, then I snap. I tear out of her arms and lash out at the boy with a snarl. The boy stumbles back slightly in surprise, but manages to respond with a dark scowl. You! Dove's breath hitches behind me when the boy starts to lift his arms. I think I've tolerated you disrupting my home for long enough. I stand my ground and my throat rumbles. I bend my knees to prepare my attack as bloody patterns begin to manifest on the back of his hands. Then, in a single blink, we are back in Dove's room with the curtains of her canopy back in place. The boy spins around. I hear glass crunch under his feet. His enraged expression melts into confusion as he faces the window. And then, a sound thunders throughout the entire mansion. I freeze as a chime of the grandfather clock pierces the air. The heavy metal clang makes the air around us tremble and painfully reverberates inside my skull. My body submits to the overwhelming sound, and my tail goes between my legs. The boy's hands fly up to cover his ears. The hell? The boy groans out in agony. Black veins begin to spread from the dark markings around the boy's eyes. I can see blood starts to drip from his nose. He staggers back and brings a hand up to swipe at the blood. His eyes widen in shock when he sees it coating his fingers. I can't see the window beyond the curtains of the canopy, but for just a fraction of a second, I swear I see the red light that spills into the room, flickers with a mysterious shadow. Shit! The boy cups the bottom of his nose, then makes long strides towards the door in a hasty exit. He pauses at the threshold of the broken door, then places his hand on the frame. Red blooms in the back of his hand as the magic circle forms and overrides the incomplete spell etched onto his skin. You will stay here and out of my way! Dove lets out a panicked gasp. Dove bounds off the bed and throws herself at the door just as it vanishes with the boy on the other side. Dove slams against the blank wall that now stands where her door used to be. I hop off the bed and try to avoid the paint-covered glass all over the floor. A breeze brushes against my fur. It's coming from the window. I take a peek outside. There is no longer anything separating us from the outside elements. The glass panes on the window have been completely shattered, and now Dove's paintings lie in scattered pieces across the floor. Somewhere else in the house, the grandfather clock continues its booming toll. Time flows so much faster when you can hear its presence. When it was quiet, I felt like I had permission to think it had been frozen, put on hold, so that when it once again resumes, everything that had happened in its absence wouldn't count as real. The disturbing clenching finally stops, but the sound of ticking continues mercilessly. I look over and Dove runs her hands over the smooth wall where her door used to be. Her hands drop. Without making a sound, she stands and turns to face the mass of glass of the floor. Streaks of dried black tears and red blotches paint her cheeks. Her eyes scan the glass and the window warily. It's like she's just become completely numb to everything. I whimper. Dove leans down, picks up a shard of glass, and clenches her fist around it. The glass slices into her palm, sending Dove into a state of shock. I tilt my head in concern. Did she think it wouldn't cut her? Her head twists on her neck as she searches around the room for something, but all she finds is silence. My brows press together as I observe her strange actions. Then something clicks in my mind. I remember seeing her do something like this before. After Babel had left, Dove looked for her, just like she does now. Dove's eyes drop to the ground as she releases the shard, her arms fallen at her sides. I am alone now. My eyes slowly blow wide open. She drops onto the floor in a heap, and her eyes turn into a dull blue as she retreats into the darkest corners of her mind. It's the last safe place she has. All because of me. Each ghost was a decoration that hid the bars of this birdcage Dove calls home. Despite the fact that they had been rotting away long before I'd arrived, one by one, I ripped them down, forcing her to see this space for the cold, empty prison cell it truly is. It's because of the ghosts themselves that she was able to find comfort despite being in a place so depraved that. Without them, what does she have? I look around the room and analyze every little detail. The books, the plants and drawings, the monsters.
Everything Dove has done since I first met reveals everything I need to know about her. Dove has never tried to get out. She'd already learned how to live with the walls closing in on her every day. I feel my fur bristle. Dove had lived with the monsters like she was one of them. She must think she truly is one after being treated like one for so long. She's been convinced that she's something that belongs to the night, hidden away, locked away. When we first saw her, she really looked like she's a menacing being and stuff like that, but now she's a victim of circumstances she was never asked to be in for. And I feel bad for calling her evil. I'm so sorry, Dove. Please forgive me. Something undeserving of love and care. No, something that can only be loved by things that are as terrible as she is. Dove's father had locked her cage from the outside, and she had locked it from the inside. The ghosts were her distractions. That's all Dove has ever done, distract herself so nothing needs to change. If she's distracted, she won't focus on the things she truly yearns for. She won't think of how she wishes things were better. For Dove, the path of improvement starts at a sheer cliff. She now stands at the top, looking down, completely scared out her wits. There are two options at this point for her. She can either stay at the top, where the air is cold and thin, or she can walk forward into the unknown. Now what have we learned? Hey, don't blame me. You guys also thought that she's evil. Don't judge me. You also thought of her as evil, not just me. Shush. But yeah, it's a really abusive way of a parent locking their child like this. No matter which human, it's not the right thing to do to your child. And the children notice things more than adults, for real. Either choice seems terrifying. They both look like impending doom, but maybe if I stay by her side, she'll have the courage to make the right one. There is no love for her here, and Dove must think there is none for her outside of these walls either. But there is me. I will love Dove so much that I will overflow with it. I will have enough love to last us lifetimes. I will be the first to love Dove when she's free, and I won't be the last. But how do I convince her of that? Love is just a word. It can be empty, heavy, easy to say, or impossible to say. It means nothing when there is no foundation under it to bear its weight. Love. Sometimes it's not enough, sometimes it's too simple, sometimes it's too complicated. To say you love or loved can mean so many different things to whoever hears it. So how can I define what my love means for Dove? How can I prove to her that this feeling I have is hers to have, to take, to use, to consume, to devour? If I were to cut out my heart and serve it to her on a platter to feast on, I still don't think that would be enough. I take a deep breath to calm the frantic beating in my chest. Maybe nothing will be different on the outside. After all, there's no such thing as a normal childhood for children like us. When other kids were playing in the creek to catch crayfish, I could only watch from the distance. The last time I tried to play with them, they ran away.
They knew who I was, what I was. Their parents would have told them, warned them to stay away. Not plainly, no, that would be effective. What is more powerful than the curiosity of a child? Not many things, I think. Wouldn't I know that best? They needed to be creative to keep their children away from beasts like us. To them, we are folklore, songs, scary stories to be told at bedtime. Our nails are iron, our teeth are sharp, our eyes can curse, our voices can steal, our blood can burn. And I suppose after everything I've been through, they are right to be terrified. We truly are nightmares brought to life. We are nightmares that pierce through souls, disturbing those who catch us in the light amongst them. We don't even look that different though, at least not at first. Maybe if no one looks too closely. Dove could pass off as one of them, so she could be accepted into their care. My heart strains at the thought. No, that would be impossible. Witches themselves try so hard to smother the magic in their own children, and the result only makes them yearn for it more. The witching is born starved, not for food or affection, but for the ether. That's why we can never be mistaken for human. We wear our hunger for magic on our sleeves. Anyone would be able to instantly tell that we are not the same. After everything that's happened, to try and contain Dove, even outside the wall of this mansion, would be too cruel. If Dove cannot be loved for who she is, what would all of this effort be for? I look to my side. Near me, Dove wraps her arms around her knees and hides her face. You have to leave this place. Not without you! My eyes sweep over the scattered shards of glass and the paintings that have been separated into parts like puzzle pieces. I start to push large pieces together until the paintings align, not really considering the reason for my actions. Dove's eyes widen and she tries to push me away from the glass. Stop, you will get hurt! Don't bother yourself. They're just stupid drawings. I wince when a shard cuts into the fleshy pad of my paw, but I do not stop. You made them. How can they be stupid? My bleeding paw leaves little red marks on the floor as I continue rearranging the broken glass. As the paintings are slowly reformed, I take note of what they are. The long limbs of Ziri, the flowing train of mycelium from Babel, the many hands of Odette, the sharp elbows of Grell. Dove had even painted the trailing gore of her mother's ghost. Their images become laid out before me, cradled by swirling brushstrokes. Dove uncurls her arms and leans forward on her palms. Her fingers reach out to tentatively brush against the glass. My paws tinged with cuts and leave smudges of red on the floor. As Dove admires the fractured paintings, an idea forms in my head. As I burst into action, I wonder how I had never thought to do this before. I press my bloody paw onto the floor and work hastily. I get even more chunks of glass embedded into my paws, but I'm numb to the pain at this point. I bark to get Dove's attention. She turns her head slowly, then I watch shock begin to take over her features. Dove's lips move, not speaking, simply mouthing the word I've written on the floor. Your eyes grow watery. You. I hope and press little red paws against her dress. I then hop back down and tuck my chin into my chest to point at myself. And me. I move to stand behind the word I've written, and my tail swings side to side. Friends! Written in blood and all, which has to mean something, right? It doesn't matter if the word disappears, the blood will cling to every tiny grain in the wood, into the very essence of this house, even after it's long gone. This word is my gift to Dove. For the fireworks, for the safety, for letting me meet her. It can't be taken back. You are my friend, Dove, and I am yours. Until the world is nothing but memory dust floating through time. Dove's sleep begins to wobble. Discord! Oh, not Discord. Sorry, OBS. I hope the glitch was. I hope there was no glitch because my OBS for a moment stopped working. For a second, even. Friends? My tail wags. I nod my head slowly and hold her eyes in mine fiercely. Dove sniffles and wipes at her eyes. Then she asks me a question that catches me completely off guard. What's your name? My eyes grow wide. A wave of emotion goes through me. My whole body suddenly feels like it's been strung tight. My name? My head bows and I stare at the floor. I swallow a gulp and drag my bloody paw along the boards. When I'm done, Dove's eyes consider what I've written. She stares at my name with wonder before flickering her gaze to me. Basel? I feel my breath get knocked out of my lungs. I blink rapidly to fight off the wave of sadness. I didn't know I would miss hearing my own name so much. It feels like a piece of my true self has been returned to me. I miss it so much. The sound of my grandmother calling my name. Whether with affection or discipline, I miss it all. Dove lets out a small hiccup, and the well inside of her begins to overflow. Tears fall down her cheeks. The sun shines in the obsidian streaks like starlight. She surges forward and throws her arms around my neck. I desperately wish I could also shed my own tears, but my feelings are trapped inside of this body. I can do no more than softly whimper out my sorrows. Hello! Dove sobs into my fur and wipes at the snot that leaks from her nose. Basel! My heart jumps at the way she says my name. My eyes close and I nod my head against her, breathing in a way she smells like old books and withered lilacs to hide the smell of decay that links to everything in this house. Dove cries her heart out. I begin to wonder if she'll cry herself to death. I think she has enough tears hoarded away to cry endlessly. Eventually, though, her wails start to wane into quiet sniffles. I jump on my ears, pick up the sound of something clicking. Dove's fingers clutch the leaf charm of my necklace. Suits you even more than I imagined. I look up at Dove and she smiles softly before turning her head towards the broken glass. Dove pulls away from me and looks to her side. It's not done yet. My gaze swings to the empty section above the paintings of the monsters. The other parts were easy to fit together because I could recognize the creatures, but some sections were difficult to piece together. Dove moves to kneel before the unfinished section with her back to the window. She leans over the pieces and starts to place the missing parts together. Her hands move confidently to stitch the fragments together. I suppose it makes sense that she's far more familiar with her paintings. When she's done, she leans back. The completed painting finally sits before me. I tilt my head in bewilderment as I take it in. I've never seen this creature before. The longer I gaze upon it, the more unsettled I start to feel. The painting is a shadowed humanoid. It's devoid of details or anything that can help me identify it. The most unique thing about it is the spread of bat-like wings and the long clawed fingers that stretch out, as if beckoning you to come closer. Are they real, or just a fragment of David's imagination? A strong breeze chills me. Dove twists her neck to look behind her. Her hair flies around her like leaves in the wind. I notice her gaze catch onto something and delicately pad over to the window. It's a rose! A single rose stands on the seat in front of the window. There's nothing to hold it up. Something enchants it to stand perfectly straight, as if it's a piece of glass. The petals are white as snow, like the ones in a rooftop garden. My instincts are screaming at me to stay away from it, but Dove moves like clockwork before I can stop her. When it comes to roses, people typically avoid its thorns. There usually isn't a need to stay clear of the soft petals, but I would caution that these ones stay admired from a distance. Dove brings the tip of her finger to the cluster of tiny teeth that line each petal.
Oh, I just noticed now this rose really has teeth. Jeez. If you look really close, it has like teeth. Like here. Oh, cute. Oh, yeah, true.
The petals waste no time snapping shut around the offered flesh. Dove wrenches her hand back with a gasp, and a small ring of teeth marks wrap around her finger. It's red now because of the blood. We both watch as her blood starts to soak through each petal until the rose bleeds into the vibrant red. Where did it come from? My muscles are tense. A noise makes me jump. My eyes snap to the outside of the window. It almost sounded like the flap of wings. My gaze darts from the trees to the sky in search, but nothing stands out. Was it just my imagination? I look at Dove, and her eyes are completely fixed on the rose with an expression I cannot read. We remained trapped in Dove's room for days. At first, we were desperate to find a way out. To be trapped in this box with nothing but books and our wits, I was afraid we would go mad. But eventually, we decided to just start waiting. Well, Dove decided waiting would be the best course of action, and I howled about it until I was too tired to continue howling. She had a plan, and I didn't like it one bit. As we wasted away, warm meals and fresh water would appear in the room, but Dove would only touch the water. Worry takes a bite out of me every time I see how much more tired and frail she becomes. You could still hear the ticking from the grandfather clock, and I counted every second painstakingly to track how much time has passed. On the On the 259 200th second, the door reappears, and the witch walks through it. Dove looks up from her place amongst her book towers. The witch steps into the room and places a hand on his hip. He looks down at Dove and gives her a smile.
Don't smile at me like that, mister. I do not trust you at all.
Up you get, darling. It's time to get ready for dinner. Dove looks like she's dressed for a funeral. Oh, she definitely almost looks like it. But her pigtails don't really suit her, to be fair. After finally being freed from the confines of Dove's room, I watched as she was dragged into the kitchen and placed into a steaming copper tub to be scrubbed clean.
Dinner now after a few days. Yep, something is definitely fishy about it.
The witch makes no comment when he catches a glimpse of the thin cuts up and down her arms before he shoves them into the water. Then, like she's nothing more than a doll, she's buttoned up in an all-black dress.
Her hair looks more messy this way. Yeah, I prefer when she had original hair.
It's far more fancy than anything I've seen her wear before. To be wrapped up so formally, I fear for what the occasion must be. All the candles that had covered the dining room table have been cleared away. The lining has been replaced with a fresh one, and all 3 chairs have been uncovered. On top of the table now sits platters and plates of exquisite food. Fruits polished to a mirror-like shine, free of any blemishes, steaming meats with thick sauces, mixed vegetables. The food is so enticing, it's suspicious, but part of me still hopes that Dove will hide away a plate for me after this no dogs allowed event is over. I can feel saliva starts to pool in my mouth from the temptation of the smell alone. And after not eating for days, I can't imagine how Dove is faring as she sits opposite of her father. Candles flicker and crackle around the room while a storm rages against the window outside. I sit in the hallway, peering into the room through a gap in the doorway. Music plays faintly on the side, filling the awkward silence. Dove hasn't said a word. She sits neatly with her hands on top of one another on her lap, while her eyes try to set the empty chair next to her father ablaze. The witch takes a long sip of the rich, dark red liquid in his wine glass and sets it down with a tap. He looks just as weary as Dove does, his skin dulled as to a lifeless gray, and the marks around his eyes have sunk even deeper and darker. His eyes flicker around the room, almost anxiously. A candle pops loudly behind him, and I see his shoulders jump. He twists his neck to quickly look behind him, and my head tilts slightly. Surely that didn't actually frighten him. I can feel my nerves start to fray from his strange behavior. He blinks and composes himself once more before turning his gaze to Dove and clearing his throat. I'm sorry I've been locked away for so long.
No, you're not sorry, you bitch!
I feel my lip curl over my teeth. Is he sorry about your bedroom door or the mansion doors? I see Dove's eyes blink at me from the corner of my eye before she acknowledges the witch's apology. to which she doesn't. Dove's eyes fall to the covered plate in front of her. She reaches for her fork and holds it up, ready to finally eat. The witch holds up a hand. Not yet. Dove's bottom lip juts out in disappointment. She drops the fork with a clank and slumps in her seat. The witch swirls his wine. Don't forget grace, my dear. We can't eat until the devils have blessed our meal. Yep, I would never dine with him like that. Dove crosses her arms over her rumbling stomach. Tell me, what have you been reading lately? I lay my hand on my paws and huff quietly. What hasn't she been reading? Dove turns her head to stare out at the rain that taps against the window. Nothing you would find interesting. Indulge me, I'm curious. Dove takes a deep breath. I was going through a collection of work by one writer. His name was Willwe, or something along those lines. The witch leans his head on his palm and takes a sip of his wine. Ah, yes, I'm familiar with him. He sets the wine glass down. Not quite my cup of tea, I'll admit, but I do find some of his words quite captivating. One of them being, I was never really insane. The witch looks at Dove expectantly. She blinks, then looks down at her lap with the slightest hint of redness in her cheeks. Except upon occasions when my heart was touched. Dove's fingers tangle together on her lap, and I see the witch give her a small smile. Ah, you are definitely a fan of his works already, I see. More red stains Dove's cheeks and she sinks slower in her chair. The witch opens his mouth to continue the conversation, then he suddenly shoots up from his chair. Dove startles just as I do when his chair falls to the floor with a loud clatter. My heart pounds and my ears stand on high alert. What on earth? I rise up from the floor and I bend my elbows, ready to burst into the room if need be. Oh, he put on the skull mask. Something's gonna happen. I peek out from the edge of the tablecloth and see the witch stagger back a step with his skull mask now over his eyes. His eyes are glued to the windows. I switch my gaze over to them and see nothing. This family seems to be very good at seeing things that are not in plain view. I'm convinced this house is haunted by far more than just ghosts. Yep. Especially considering the fact that we personally sent most of them departing. In less than a blink, the witch's mask is dissolved, and he rests his chair back on the way it was. I catch a glimpse of his forearm and see a smudge of red. He used magic. But for what? The answer comes in the sound of light knocking. Hidden in the shadows of the dining room are hints of movement and flashes of strings. I swallow. Dove sits stiffly in her chair and doesn't acknowledge the new unwelcomed audience. The witch returns to his seat, picks up his glass, and finishes his wine to the dregs. He sets the empty glass on the table and starts to rub his temples. I apologize. I seem to be seeing things lately. Dove says nothing and avoids looking at him. Your father sighs listlessly, then grabs a bottle of wine to refill his glass. Let's go on a trip. Just you, me, and Hypatia.
Wait, but didn't we set the ghost of hers free? What do you mean? Just you, Dove, and Hypatia. Weren't we setting the ghost free? Just a couple of days ago?
Dove's head snaps up to look at her father. He finishes pouring the wine and sets it down with a tap that makes Dove flinch hard. It's been a long time since you left this place, hasn't it? Maybe he found another way. Maybe. The witch's mouth forms a thin line. We'll go somewhere nice then, the three of us. Everything has been prepared to bring her back. He holds the bowl of his wine glass and considers the deeply colored contents. I just need... The witch's brows furrow together. He seems to be hesitating on what to say. One last thing. Dove looks at her father like he's grown 6 heads. Shock, then fury crosses her features until her eyes burn bright with betrayal. Her eyes prickle with tears, but she does not let them fall. Dove's eyes drop down to the covered plate in front of her. The witch rises from his seat swiftly and begins to make his way over to Dove's end of the table. In the air, I start to smell the notes of something sour. I watch Dove nervously. I wanted to celebrate. Dove is as white as the linen on the dining table by the time he stands beside her. He places his hand on top of Dove's plate cover. Tonight. Dove's mouth falls open like a marionette. We'll finally be whole again. A single black tear slides down her cheek. I made your favorite. He starts to lift the cover off. Violet, yeah. I jump when the witch suddenly flies back and drops the lid with a mind-rattling clang. My ears fall, and the veil is torn away. A curdled smell invades my senses and makes me reel back from my place at the dining room entrance. When I look, I see that all the food on the table has decayed, with patches of mold dusting near every surface. Flies zip around the food, and maggots wiggle and fall onto the table in clumps. I force down the need to retch, especially when I lay eye on Dove's favorite food. I think it might be a little undercooked considering it's still wriggling and writhing on her plate.
He tried to prepare violet jam, but instead he prepared something way worse.
It's a leech's. What the fuck? Ew, gross. Dove wears a blank expression as she stares down at the leeches.
Can't even begin to fathom what passes through her head as she picks up her fork and knife and starts cutting up her meal.
You seriously going to eat leeches?
Nah, that's gross. Bleh. The witch stumbles away in disgust and backs up against the window. Dove takes her time slicing a leech into pieces. Blood leaks out from its lifeless body and pools on her plate. Bleh. Her face is frighteningly calm as she picks up a gory chunk gracefully with her fork. I can see the witch watch in horror as she begins to raise it to her mouth. I can't tell what he is anticipating more as he makes no move to stop her. Because he observes her like a life experiment. Knowing what I know of Dove, there are two possibilities for what she might do. One, she sets her fork back down after nothing more than a disturbing bluff. And two, she eats the raw leech.
It's raw? It's not even cooked? Bleh, bleh.
Gross. Leech is the best portion for witches. No, it's not. At least for me. Never thought that I'd see a plate of those. Me neither, but here I am. If he was hoping the former might come true, well, then he doesn't know what kind of daughter he raised. Dove chews slowly, carefully. It's nasty. Eating leeches can be risky. If they are still whole and alive when you eat them, there's highly likely chance that they will latch their teeth onto your internal organs.
That's even worse.
And if you're unable to roll in and blocking your airways, what the actual fuck? After Dove swallows, the witch makes the sign of the cross, the devil's version, which is just the inverse of the holier version. His hands tremble as he does it. Now his expression mirrors Dove's state of shock from earlier. It's true. You're one of theirs.
Explain.
Lightning illuminates the sky behind the witch. For the fraction of a second, I swear I see the silhouette of something amongst the clouds. There's no time to dwell on it. The witch wears a solemn expression as he stares down at Dove. It has to be you. Dove's head turns until her eyes land on me. My heart beats erratically. Her mouth forms the word, go. It's now. I gulp. Or never. I turn down the hallway and hear a whooshing sound as every candle and light in the house is extinguished. I hear Dove gasp and the entire mansion groan. Then one by one in the dark, red eyes blink into existence until the hallway is speckled with them. First, I freeze when I hear the voice of the boy come from behind me.
I will deal with you.
I immediately break into a run. Please don't get hurt, Dove. I break into the study and heave as I catch my breath. My feet sprint over to the shelves and knocks over books and bottles. I dig through jars of ambiguous preserved objects, searching high or low for secrets. Dove said that if there is a key to how the witch comes and goes out of the mansion, it would be in here and nowhere else. She had never tried to look for it all these years because she did not have a reason to leave. Until now. The mansion consumes so much magic to do everything it does, which limits how much is available for him to use. He wouldn't waste energy when he's been using so much of it to research how to revive my mother first and keep me imprisoned second. Dove looks away for a moment. Even then, with all the magic he devours, there is scarcely any left. Dove's eyes glaze over and she stares blankly at the air that surrounds us. When there is barely anything else, he uses the blood cups. I don't know how I think about my father, but I know my father.
Which makes zero sense, but I will believe you, Dove.
My heart tugs as I remember the plan Dove had devised. I'll finally have the privilege of having his attention all to myself, while you find the thing that will open this manor's doors. I leap onto a stool and claw my way onto the table that stands in the middle of the room. My eyes rake through small bowls of crushed herbs, stacks of journals, and hastily written notes, but nothing resembles what could be the key that unlocks these walls. It has to be somewhere. I use the height of the table to my advantage and drag my gaze through every corner of the room. Maybe there's a button or something? A map? I sift through my own memories. It feels like the clue is already within me, but it refuses to surface. The rattle of chains disrupts my line of thinking. Then something in my mind clicks. My ears twist on my head following the sound, and my eyes land on it. Sitting on the witch shrine shines a silver thurible.
Hold on, guys. Something is approaching. I need to write. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, just my neighbor disturbed me a bit. Okay.
Strings of delicate chains drape off the edge, and purple smoke curls out of the incense holder. My nose soaks up a woody, spicy scent, and suddenly I'm pulled back to the very first day. I remember the smell and the sound of chains moving in a controlled motion. The key! I have no doubt about it. This has to be it. I jump off the study table and bolt for the witch shrine. I'm just inches away from snapping my teeth around the hanging chains when the eyes of every skull in the shrine come to life.
Uh-oh, does it mean that he knows what we are trying to do?
I skid to a halt as a red glow materializes in the once lifeless shadows of the skull's eye sockets. Suddenly, it feels like I have the weight of 1,000 eyes upon me. Their voices strike me like lightning, all screaming out for the same thing. Alexius! The floorboards underneath me tremble from the fury that comes through the shrine. My heart completely drops into the acid of my stomach. Then another scream has me spinning. Basil! My ears pick up the sound of footsteps coming closer to the study. A set of light ones and heavy ones. I panic. My eyes jump between the thurible and the door.
I need... Oh, shit. Wait. Let me save. Shall we take the thurible or go after Dove? Let's try to grab it.
I yank the thurible down onto the floor and start to pick it up with my mouth, and the door to the study creaks open. Ice press through my veins. Why, Reverend Mother, I'm so honored to have you lighten up my shrine again so soon. The witch slowly approaches the shrine as I slip under the shadows of the table and softly pad towards the exit. The mirror that had once been dull now reflects his portrait as he steps up to the shrine. Your friend, say me your honeyed words and answer me. Is it true they have visited you for her? The witch frowns and crosses his arms behind his back.
Yes, I did not believe it at first. The words it has been whispering to me at night were nonsense to me.
The witch pulls his arms forward and massages the tattooed magic circle on the back of his hand.
But now, I must do as it asks.
Asks? What do they bid you to do, brother?
The witch's eyes peers into the glowing orbs of the Reverend Mother's school. I must return their child to them.
Return? The shrine bursts into flames and the skulls all release shrill screams that rattle every window and surface. No! The Reverend Mother emits one last shriek before her connection to the shrine is severed. The witch watches the flames with no remorse, and I can see the blood that trails down the magic circle on his hand. He stumbles slightly on unsteady legs and breaks into a violent cough. His magic is unstable. I dare to observe him just a little longer, and a shrill cry rings down the hallway. Basil! My head snaps around, making the chains in my mouth jingle and drawing the witch's attention to me. His gaze slams down on me standing in the doorway, seconds away from slipping out, but he does not move to give me chase. He wipes away a streak of blood that trails down his chin and straightens. There you are, little puppy. Time to go on a walk. I'll take you on a personal tour through hell. The fur along my spine puffs up when the boy appears right behind me. He grins wickedly and his carmine eyes crinkle behind the bone-white wolf's skull.
Also, the theory that these two are the same person can easily go away because they are not the same person. I am convinced.
Blood runs down his face from his under the mask. I breathe out in quick puffs as the boy blocks my way out of the room, but I see a single, perhaps slightly insane, opportunity. Just as he reaches down for me, pale hands starting to blaze with bleeding circles, I slip out between his legs. What? I stick out my tongue as I bound away. Stupid witch! I find Dove standing in the hallway, crying into the balls of her hands. When she sees me, she sucks in a sharp breath and starts to rush over to me. I run my eyes up and down her length, then breathe out a sigh of relief when I conclude no harm has done to her. I thought he got you! Dove throws her arms around me, and I can feel her shake. The thurible slips from my mouth and clatters onto the floor. My tail wags in her embrace, then so quickly she turns still as a stone. I back away in confusion. Dove looks down at the ropes of black string that wrap around her, then gives me one last look of terror before the strings rip her away from me and down the darkness of the hallway. No, they got Dove! No! Her screams pound in my ears as the house swallows her. In the chilling silence that follows, I hear chains. Looking for this, doggy? I turn my head and capture just a glimpse of the boy before he melts into the darkness. I twist my neck trying to follow the phantasmal movements that stalk me in the gloom. I can hear the chains of the thurible swinging and smell the smoke that escapes it, but all around me is nothingness. The sound of the chains move back and forth like a pendulum. Time to play a little game. I twirl around and come face to face with the boy crouching down to my level. He gives me an ear-to-ear grin. Basel. My hair almost explodes in my chest. He reaches towards me, and I hold my breath. His hands wraps around my snout and gives it a rough pull. His vermilion eyes deepen until they are almost black, and he glares down at me. Tag, you're it. I glance down at the thurible in his hand and break forward. My attempt to reclaim the incense holder meets nothing but air. The boy melts into the shadows once again. Then his voice bounces off the walls from every direction, rendering it impossible to pinpoint its source. Catch me, and maybe you can have your prize. The sound of clinking chains starts to vanish down the hall. I inhale deeply, then exhale. Then I start to chase it. I swear, past, present, and future, there will never be a single vision of these hallways that does not cover my hatred. I pant as I reach a dead end in the hallway. This labyrinth had almost started to become familiar to me, but now it is as if everything has been reset back to nonsense. I retrace my steps back to a set of diverging of halls. I pick up the sound of chains coming from the left, but from the right there is another sound. My chest tightens. I don't have time for this. If it's a choiced one, I will save and go right. I tiptoe down the right hallway, and the sound I've come to investigate grows clearer. I recognize what awaits me from the sound alone. The dull clink of fluttering velvet wings against glass makes my ears stand up straight. In the dark, the bioluminescent red wings of Dove's moths clash within the jar that traps them. It sits mysteriously right in the middle of the floor, like a lantern floating in the middle of the sea. I dared to think it had been placed here just for me to find, because I'm finding that there is little coincidence to the strangeness that occurs here. My head spins as I search for whoever or whatever could have left the moss here, and all I find is eerie emptiness. I stare down the jar in contemplation, then I wrap my jaws around the glass and carefully picked it up. Perhaps this is a sign of divine intervention, but a terrible feeling tells me something more wicked is brewing here. My pace quickens as I continue to search for the boy. I am panting heavily when I finally come to a stop again. After a series of running through doors, finding dead ends, and leaping through perilous gaps in the floors, I find myself face to face with a hidden door, the one I've slipped through a handful of times by now. It's held wide open for me, beckoning me to enter. I sneak into the greenhouse on drenched paws from the rain and keep my body low on the ground. When I had first walked into the greenhouse, it was bursting with color and life. The rose bush was a shard of the night sky that had fallen down to earth. Now there is not a star that remains amongst the withered veins of vines and leaves. My heart mourns its loss. It was as grand as it was monstrous in its desire for blood, but I still found it no less lovely. And it still stood in awe of its grandness. I had found Dove at the base of the rose bush. But now, as at its most lifeless, I find the witch. He holds something in his hand, and he brings it to his mouth. Blood caps. It's almost like crystallized gold. Its glow does not dull, even in dehydrated state. Streaks of light pierce through the witch's fingers, as if he were holding a piece of sun. A dried mushroom crunches loudly between his teeth. When he swallows, the boon of the blood caps brings him to his knees. His body sizes and his legs lock up, dropping him to the tiled floor. A wet cough claws up his throat, and his body shakes in a way that looks painful. He gasps for air. A glowing cloak of red light pulses over his body briefly. When the violent effects of the blood caps finally start to settle, the witch wipes his mouth and moves until he's kneeling in front of a small bundle of withered flowers. I watch as he digs into the pocket of his trousers and produces out a small notebook. He snaps it open with a flick of his wrist. A chunk of chalk is wedged between the pages. Immediately, he draws out a magic circle on the floor before the dead flora. A gust of wind blows into the greenhouse and swirls through the space, sweeping the scent of wood and spice into my nose. I slowly move around, watching the witch's back intensely, until the thurible comes into view. The moth jaw crackle between my teeth seems to burst with vigor the closer I get to the witch. The silver censer sits at the witch's side. I can feel my blood rushing through my veins and I move in. The air shimmers with magic when the witch activates the magic circle he has drawn. I catch a glimpse of hooded purple flowers blooming back to life, and a twig snaps under my paw. The witch's head snaps in my direction. Up close, I can see his bloodshot scarlet eyes behind his skull mask and the sheen of sweat over his pale skin. He glances down to the thurible at my feet. Then I throw down the jar of carnivorous moths onto the floor with every scrap of my might. The witch yells out as a cloud of red wings explodes right in his face. High-pitched chirping raptures the air and makes my ears go flat on my head. There are far more moths than what was contained, but I take it as a magical blessing. I dive for the thurible between the chaos. As soon as I have the chains of the thurible between my teeth, the squeaking of the moths vanish. I throw my head up, then shrink back in terror. The boy stands before me, jaw clenched in a sneer. Every moth that had attacked the witch has been incinerated and now falls to the floor in ashes.
Did we just kill the witch?
The boy holds his fist up. The magic circle on the back of his hand oozes blood, dripping down past his wrist. His image wavers as the witch rises to his full height behind him. He raises both his arms and spreads them like wings. Red magic circles blossom over his exposed skin, simultaneously with the witch's. The floor beneath me lurches and trembles, making me stumble on shaky legs. I hear two voices merged into one.
You will not be leaving this place alive or dead. So they were the one person? What's the actual fuck?
I clench my jaw around the chains of the thurible. The boy's sick, twisted grin merges with the witch's rageful expression, like parting smoke, as he takes a step towards me, brimming with magic. The entire mansion rumbles as I dodge creeping vines, rushing away from the witch and out of the greenhouse and slippery tiles. When I am back inside, I throw myself through the hidden door and roll onto the floor. Rain soaks my fur and my vision spirals. My senses take a moment to return to me, and when they do, a noise pounds against my skull. The grandfather clock lets out the blaring toll that brings down the halls. I release a shaky breath and squint at how bright everything is now. It's like I've stepped into a completely different house.
Jesus Christ, the hall is different!
The walls bleed a red so bright it strains my eyes. Crimson runs down the windowless panels, making the space feel like it's closing on me with every toll of the clock. In addition, my whole body tenses as I look up to the ceiling. Suddenly, I miss having shadows to blend into. Maybe then I wouldn't feel so exposed to the bone-white faces of the dolls that hang in tangles of string. I instinctively try to lower myself to the floorboards. The blood that pumps from them is sticky and warm. Wood and bone rattle above me in reaction to the sound of the thurible's chains clicking. The chains will attract their attention. My mind starts to spiral. Every shim of the clock's bell strikes me like a hammer. Maybe I can match each swing to the bell. I straighten my neck and hold my head up a little higher. Every time I heard the witch use the thurible, it sounded like it was swung in a controlled rhythm. Iron clanks from the top of the spiral staircase. I have to find Dove now! I slowly move forward, then start swinging the thurible.
Click the symbol before the timer runs out? Oh fuck. Oh shit. Oh, wait. Oh, okay.
Purple smoke swirls around me, and like a padded curtain.
Oh wait, can I actually go back and save before this moment? Okay, we should be good.
Purple smoke swirls around me, and like a parted curtain, the halls I had walked through that very first night reveal themselves. I steadily move forward and continue my search for Dove, and desperately try to not think about the wood that creaks behind me. Above me, the joints of the dolls click with every unnerving twitch. I try to keep my heartbeat steady, my presence non-existent. But a strange noise from above almost makes my paw tangle beneath me. It's all your fault. I pretend I don't hear it. Oh shit. Pop, 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 pop. My jaw aches, but I continue to push onwards. Duff is so close, I can feel it. And the footsteps behind me are as well. The dolls above seem to be growing restless. He took us here for you. They look for me vigilantly. It's a terrible idea, but I hasten the pace of the swinging thurible. Oh shit! 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 My nerves are wound so tight, I feel like the pressure in my chest is on the verge of exploding. But I hear her. My ears pick up Dove's small sobs behind the door. The smoke materializes it before me. My heart leaps with relief. We can finally leave together! A noise halts my steps. I stop so abruptly that I drop the thurible. The sound of something tearing turns my blood into ice. It's not paper, not fabric that is torn. It's something much more terrifying. This space itself, forced apart, threads broken and parted, allowing something to come through. The door that bars me from reaching Dove explodes in a mass of splinters. I duck onto the floor as debris showers me. Down the hall, every other door follows the same pattern. I force myself to look up through sawdust that pricks my eyes. Dove covers on the floor, shielding her head with her arms from the wood that had rained down on her from the explosion. I can see her palms smeared with blood. When I look down to the floor before her, I can faintly make out smudges of crimson under the debris. Dark tears drip down Dove's cheeks as she stares at something with wide eyes. The smell of sulfur pierces through the air, then the growls come. My body trembles in horror. I prayed I would never have to hear them again. The sounds that come from inside the room are the exact same ones that had started this entire nightmare. I hear the tap of sharp nails on the floorboards and jerk back from the door. Bile threatens to crawl up my throat. My ears lay back and my tail crawls between my legs. No, it can't be. Dove looks so small compared to the shadow that stretches over her. It failed. I found you, little wolf. I turn my head slowly. No. I cover back from the witch and the growls that come from Dove's room. I feel my whole body go numb with defeat. Dove cries out as the creature moves for her, and the witch's arms light up with spells. He clenches his teeth and blood runs down his nose. Infernal tunnels blow out from the palms of his hands. The creature launches itself at Dove and meets the witch's flames. It bursts into nothing, and I only watch helplessly as Dove crawls away from the violence until she's curled up against the wall. When the beast is nothing but ashes, the witch casually steps over the cinders and walks over to his daughter. Wait a second. Weren't you just emerged with the boy back there? I'm confused. To be fair, I'm confused.
Come now, little one. They are gone now. He beckons her towards him, and I watch as she throws her arms around his shoulders and cries into them. The witch picks Dove up in his arms, then he moves towards me. A wave of nausea rolls through me. I have to run. I step back, then I feel something dig into my flesh. I look down and see black threads wrap around my body. I cry out and try to pull away from it, but it ensnares me completely like a web. I look down to polished shoes and whimper. I raise my gaze up to Dove in desperation. She looks at me with teary eyes, then looks away. What? Oh. My ears completely flatten. It's over.
What? Why?
The witch reaches for something behind me. In an instant, I see the flash of a dagger. Don't worry. Your death will be of great use to me.
What? Wait, we are dead? We're like dead?
My love. Finally. After so long.
Yeah, but...
You're the one.
Mother... She killed him!
Come out, my darling.
This is creepy as fuck.
We have so much work to do. I have so much to teach you. Come, look up. This is what weakness looks like. I'll make sure you never know it.
We got the bad end! Unbelievable. I got the bad ending.
Wait, look! There are roses here. I haven't seen the roses here.
So we got the bad ending. We also have a good ending. So basically we got all the images, but we got the bad ending. Wait.
Question. What if instead of taking the sensor, we go to Dove? I find Dove wandering the halls, frantically searching for me. When she sees me, she sucks in a sharp breath and starts to rush over to me. I thought he caught you. I couldn't distract him for long enough. I'm sorry. I wanted to find you before he did. Your eyes crawl over me. Did you find anything? My tail wags and I start to nod eagerly. Then I remember that I had left the thurible behind in the study with the witch. My ears flop and Dove chews on her lip. You know where it is? I look up at her and nod, feeling shameful that I wasn't able to retrieve the thurible fast enough. She gives me a soft smile. Then we'll get it together. Dove's words stroke a fire within me. She stands tall and puts on a brave face as we start to head back together. I lead the way on hurried feet. Dove's footsteps start to follow me. Then I hear them stop. I pause, then look back in confusion. Dove looks down at the ropes of black strings that wrap around her and gives me one last look of terror before the strings rip her away from me and down the darkness of the hallway. Oh, so it's the same. Yeah, it's the same chase. And we're chasing the chain sound, but instead of going to the right, we go to left. I'll make my way down the left hall and come face to face with a complex labyrinth of hallways, staircases, and windows. My chest tightens as I begin to feel overwhelmed. But I hear it, the chains. I swallow hard, take a deep breath, and open up my ears to the sound. This is our one and only chance for freedom. My toes curl and I dig my nails into the floorboards. I center all the tension in my body into my paws, then break out into a run towards the rattle of metal. I will find you! I'm panting heavily when I finally come to a stop again. After a series of running through doors, finding dead ends, and leaping through perilous gaps in the floors, I find myself face to face with a hidden door, the one I've slipped through a handful of times by now. It's held wide open for me, beckoning me to enter. Oh, okay, it's the same thing. Oh wait, this is different. When it still stood in all of its grandness, I had found Dove at the base of the rose bush. But now, at its most lifeless, I find the witch. Oh wait, no, it's the same. He has the blood caps. He uses to refill the magic. Yeah, it's the same. Nice. Wait, what? Nice try, Matt. I snap my teeth at him, growl and try to close his face to get away, but all it does is make him hold me at arm's length. After all the inconvenience you've caused me. His eyes darken, and I wilt under the pressure of his gaze. I think it's time you pay for all the inconvenience you've caused me. I got another bad end. I got 3 roses. So roses are bad endings? Or like endings in general? Interesting thing we have here. Okay. I think what we can do now is I don't think we're going to through all endings today, but I think we will try to get a good one in the next stream. But yeah, I'm honestly not really happy with this ending, so I guess we will try to get a good ending next stream, because for now I'm getting slightly hungry and I'm a bit tired to stream, so let me just switch back to the chatting screen. Probably close the game and let me find lo-fi. Okay. But whoa, that was something. I didn't expect that things will turn up like this. I honestly hoped that we get a good ending, but I guess I guess I'm the one who gets bad endings. Well, that was nuts. Yep, that definitely was nuts. To fill your belly and time to fill your belly and feed Thane with cheese. So true, so true. I had fun. Sorry, I wasn't really talking. It's okay. It's okay. Maybe next time I will just add reactions to the stream. You know, like those. You can just tap hard to react to the stream. So maybe it will be better. But don't feel guilty for not chatting much because I understand that life is busy. We are all busy. So yeah, and chatting also takes energy, so I understand. That last part was epic. So true. And next stream I'm going to get the good ending no matter what. I will probably read the guide for the choices so we do not mess up for the good ending, but I will be honest, I thought that once we set ghosts free, then everything will change and stuff like that. But I guess it's not the case here, or maybe there were choices that I did that were wrong and stuff like that. But yeah. We'll try to get good ending next time and hopefully set us and Dove free. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the stream and I hope you're having a good day, night, morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time zone you're in right now. And I hope that you're having nice start of weekends. I am sure going to have nice weekends with Thane, and I will see you guys later. Bye bye! Hope you eat well and relax to have a good weekend. Thank you. Have a good weekend as well. See you next time.